2 people are in the hospital after a crash on I-91 this morning. And Stefan Reels will have the latest on that coming up.
Yeah, good news there. New Haven, that traffic situation has been resolved, so that's not going to be a problem for you on your morning commute if you're about to head out. Well, good morning to you and happy Tuesday. Thanks for starting your day off with us here at Fox 61 America Areas.
And I'm Bridget Bueller. Great to have you here. Happy Cinco de Mayo as well. We have a lot going on, as well as another beautiful day on tap. Yesterday was gorgeous. Today is going to be even better, right, Rachel?
Oh, yesterday was a beautiful day to get outside and enjoy the warmth that we had. Temperatures got up into the lower 70s for areas inland. We've slid the numbers into the 50s this morning, slightly warmer than this time yesterday, anywhere from 5 to about 16 degrees warmer. Our temperatures are sitting in the 40s and 50s right now at 50 degrees in Waterbury, but 52 in Chester. Willimantic 43, but you started off in the lower 30s yesterday afternoon, so that's certainly an improvement. Right now we have a few clouds filtering our sunshine. Otherwise, you can see back off to the west, couple of thunderstorms developing just west of our state. A couple of those may sneak into our state this morning. Shouldn't be a widespread issue, but just don't want you to get caught off guard. Temperature-wise this morning, we're starting off in the 40s and 50s. We'll get up into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees this afternoon. Recess outside. 74 degrees in Hamden, 79 in Southington, 78 degrees today in Middletown. We'll make a run in the lower to middle 60s towards southeastern Connecticut, 72 over towards Griswold. Now, wind speeds pick up a little bit over time today, so plan accordingly for that. We do have an elevated brush fire risk. This is very typical for this time of year, but that's something to be mindful of too, especially this evening if you have any outdoor burning or if you're maybe just starting a fire outside in a bonfire capacity. Just be mindful of that. Into our Wednesday, temperatures will be in the upper 50s to near 60 to start. We're tracking changes on the way with a round of rain that's going to, well, put an end to at least the warmth for a little bit of time. We'll have more details on that coming up in just a bit. Here at 6:02 on our roadways, we were following this earlier crash in New Haven on I-91 to the I-95 interchange out by exits 6 and 7. That is cleared up. We're taking a live look outside just prior to Middletown Avenue near Route 80. You can see both directions there now looking good with light volume, or at least volume that is running smoothly. So New Haven to the I-95 connector now 4 minutes, which is what it should be. New Haven to Bridgeport is around 22. Live look outside in Cromwell on 91. Both directions there look all right. And then in Middletown this morning on Route 9, both directions are featuring light volume. Bridget.
All right, Rachel. And as Rachel has been reporting, I-91 is back open this morning after a serious overnight crash shut down the southbound side of the highway for hours. Let's get right out to Fox 61's Stefan Reels, who saw the aftermath of the crash. Stefan, not too long ago, it was standstill traffic. Crews really worked fast to get that highway back open.
Yeah, the crash originally happened around 1 a.m. By the time we got here around 5, the interstate was still closed, but you can see right here, East Street still very much closed, even though I-91 is open. You can see some cars going over the interstate. It looks like they've just started to tow away the rest of the cars. So this area should be clearing up relatively soon. We did get the chance to speak with Connecticut State Police about this, but I also want you to look at your screen. We're going to show some video from the scene a little bit earlier today. They told us that, like I said earlier, this crash happened around 1 a.m. and it started on I-91 when the car went down the embankment on East Street, where we are now. At this time, we know that the driver and the passenger were both taken to Yale New Haven Hospital for possible life-threatening injuries. That is all the info we have from Connecticut State Police so far. But this was definitely a rude awakening to a lot of people in the neighborhood here on East Street. There was someone who came out when the crews out here were chopping up a light pole that looks like it got taken down in the crash itself. So we'll keep you updated as we learn more. But for now, live in New Haven, Stefan Reels, Fox 61.
All right, Stefan. Well, positive news that the interstate at least is back open just in time for the morning rush. Thanks a lot.
6:04 right now. An emergency water main repairs have shut off water for some people in Bristol this morning. We're checking in with Fox 61's Glenn Kittle. He's live in the area where this is affecting people. What do we know so far about the repairs? And what is the city's sewer department and water department? What are they saying? What do they want people to do this morning as they wake up, Glenn?
Good morning, Erica. Yeah, the main repairs are going to be on Federal Street. As far as we know so far, they didn't say what the emergency repairs were for, whether it was a sudden break on the water main. However, we do know that crews will be there later this morning to fix some things up. This is going to affect some surrounding streets and some people that are living in the area. We're talking areas that are just around the corner from that water main break. Now, during these tests, people are being asked to make sure that their water is off. We're told that people in the area are going to experience some discolored and low pressure water. Now, when the water eventually does turn back on, people are being told to run the bath or outside faucets until that water clears up. Then you should be good to go. The people that are affected, there's also water filling stations for people. You just have to call in advance on Terryville Avenue. They'll have folks there that will help you out. You just have to make sure that you bring refillable jugs. There's also going to be water flow tests in Bristol later on today on Stafford Avenue. That's where an elderly person's home is. That is going to take 10 to 15 minutes. That's what we're told by the city of Bristol. They're going to be experiencing some of the same problems that people in this area are going to experience with that low pressure and discolored water. It's the same bit of advice there. Just make sure you run that cold water until that discolored water turns clear, and then you should be good to go. We're going to continue to keep you updated on what we learned here so far about the emergency water main repairs. But for right now, live in Bristol, Glenn Kittle, Fox 61.
All right, Glenn, thanks. Important information as people are waking up. They're just kind of getting updated and finding out what they need to do. And thanks for your report. They're going to get to work there at their homes for sure. Thank you. Well, new for you this morning, state senators passed a bill to further regulate how children are homeschooled. Now, it already passed the House last month, so now it's heading to the governor's desk. Under the bill, parents would have to go in person to their child's school and file an intent to withdraw. And then within 2 days, a check would be run through DCF databases, including the Child Abuse Registry, to see if there are any open cases. And if there are, they cannot withdraw their child from school. Coming up in our next half hour, we're going to share the reactions to the bill passing. That's going to be in a live report for you.
Happening today, the city of New Haven will swear in a new police chief after the Board of Alders approved interim chief David Zanelli's appointment. He will replace former police chief Carl Jacobson, who stepped down in January following an investigation. Jacobson now faces felony charges for allegedly embezzling more than $85,000 from police funds. Fox 61's Kayla Cade spoke with Zanelli about how he hopes to move the department forward.
Every alderman who was present voted yes to appoint interim chief David Zanelli as the city's new police chief. They praised him for his integrity and also how quick he is to respond when someone is in need.
This room just set a really high bar for the whole police department, and we appreciate it.
Being a police chief is a big responsibility.
Chief Zanelli brings over 2 decades of experience.
But someone has to do it.
We want to make sure that we're getting out there and we're engaging the community.
And that someone is interim chief David Zanelli.
We're eager to get to work and move forward. There's a lot more work ahead of us in 2026, and we're going to build off the foundation we already have.
Mayor Justin Elicker named Zanelli as his nominee to serve as the next permanent chief of police back in January. And on Monday, the Board of Alders voted to appoint him.
Overwhelmed and very humbled by all the kind words and by the support.
Congratulations, and the whole police department is going to have to work together.
Alderman Brian Wingate is one of many who support Zanelli.
You know, in leadership, it's hard to respond sometimes, but he's a responder. Like, he's a doer, right? Like, he, next man up mentality, right? And we need that in this city, right?
There is a rule in place that says the chief of police must live inside the city, but Zanelli does not. In March, Elicker said they were working with the Board of Alders to change that rule.
We're going to let the charter and things play itself out in reference to the residency part of this whole matter. He's willing to do whatever it takes to be the chief of the city of New Haven. He's you feel like a long resident here already.
At first, Angelina Beach didn't think Zanelli should serve as the new chief.
It's pretty hard to serve a community if you don't live in the community.
But after learning about Zanelli's 18 years of experience, she now feels 50-50 about his role.
He's known enough, and he's been 18 years, so the community knows him. The community probably knows that man well, so I feel like it shouldn't be that extensive.
Many people in the community thinks he should serve as the new police chief.
I don't really mind. I don't care. I mean, if he's been doing his job for that long, then he must know what he's doing.
If he's qualified to do the job, then let him do the job.
Zanelli says he already has plans to help the city and engage the youth.
We have that new project that we're doing with our school resource officers, Project Safe, Students and Families Engaged, that we're working with Yard. We still have some issues with juveniles that we want to be preventative on, and we want to just make sure that we're making sure that they have the resources they need to be successful in the city.
Zanelli will be sworn in Tuesday afternoon. In New Haven, Kayla Cade, Fox 61.
Happening today, the man charged in the alleged sexual assault of his 12-year-old stepdaughter in Enfield is due in court. Anthony Federline was arrested in early April. It came just weeks after his stepdaughter Eve Rogers was found dead at the home they shared on Elm Street. Now, Federline is not charged in connection with Rogers' death at this time. No one is. Federline's instead charged with sexual assault and risk of injury to a child. Also due in court is a man charged with murder in connection to a shooting in Middletown last week. Police say this man, Nigel Smykel, targeted the victim on Cooley Avenue, and that person died at the hospital. Officers say they found and arrested Smykel a short time later in Hartford. Smykel is being held on a court bond this morning.
Happening today, state leaders are expected to announce the start of a major rehabilitation work on the northbound Gold Star Memorial Bridge. The project includes structural strengthening and a full bridge deck replacement. So it's part of a larger effort to extend the life of the critical I-95 crossing between New London and Groton. And as construction begins, northbound traffic is going to be shifted onto the southbound bridge to make sure travel continues to move along.
6:11 now, and only a couple of months after hundreds of tenants returned to the concierge apartments in Rocky Hill after pipes burst and several buildings were condemned. Crews responded to the complex again yesterday, this time for a fire. Firefighters say it started in the laundry room. It quickly spread through part of the building's vent system, but crews were able to keep the fire in the duct and fight it both from the inside and outside. No one was hurt in this incident, and it appears that no one was displaced. But you might remember over the winter, Attorney General William Tong forced the owner of Concierge Apartments JRK property to pay tenants more than $5 million in compensation. Some of them were displaced for as long as 3 weeks.
Developing this morning in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. military says it fired on Iranian forces as it tried to reopen the strait. Officials say 6 boats sank in the operation. Now, this comes as the U.S. military says 2 American flagged ships crossed the strait yesterday. Meantime, the United Arab Emirates, which is a key American ally in the Middle East, says Iran attacked their country since the ceasefire with Iran began. And as the war there continues, gas prices continue to go up. Today, the average for a gallon of regular here in Connecticut, according to AAA, is $4.55. That's up 3 cents from just yesterday and up about 31 cents from a week ago. A month ago, the price stood at $4.07. Again, today, it's $4.55. And as the prices go up, it's harder for people to pay up, especially for those who drive for a living.
Up next in the Fox 61 Morning News at 6, the town of East Hartford announced a new partnership this week, how it's meant to help the community during times of disaster.
Well, as we all know, electric vehicle batteries are sensitive to hot and cold temperatures. But which is worse? We're going to tell you what a new study found and what it could mean for your commute. Stay with us.